What is going on, people? How are we doing on this Saturday? Oh man! All right, so we are here for another Tap Out show. Glad if you folks are joining us tonight. And I say us because it ain't just me. I'm bringing my co-host. We're gonna have some fun, talk about the MMA world today. All right, starting with, for some reason, his name's Kendrick. Now I know why. You bit.
What's good, people?
What's going on, you bit?
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
no,
man.
hey, the inside joke for the backstory, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was today I'm Kendrick Langridge. I was been listening to some Kendrick lately, and I'm feeling pretty good. It's a great freaking weekend. I've worked 10 straight days. I've been looking forward to this weekend for a long couple days, and I'm ready to talk about some MMA with my best friends.
Let's go. And he said friends, so it ain't just me. We got to bring in that man, Wu-Tang Trend.
What up? AKA King Kunta Train.
King Kunta Trend.
Very nice spin.
Oh, man.
So what's good, guys? What we getting into? We're
getting an echo out of you,
Jake.
Everything.
We're getting
an echo out of you, Jake.
It's because of the car. Let me try to figure it out. You guys go ahead and talk. But we got some MMA and we got some boxing for you, Will.
Yes, we do. We're gonna go over. We're gonna recap UFC 94, or at least some things on there. You know, and we're also gonna talk about the Furry and Ngannu fight because Mike wasn't here when we talked about it. So we got some things on tap. Trying to have Jake figure out his technical difficulties.
This guy over here.
Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Good.
All right, cool. I figured it right out. It was because my car was connected Bluetooth wise. That's why it sounded weird.
You noob.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I'm just trying to go. I'm just trying to go to the little convenience store to grab me a little drinky drink.
Imagine, right during showtime.
Hey, I tried to do this earlier.
He's like, let's go to Kroger's.
No, I'm not going to Kroger's. I'm going up to the old market.
Having side combos too.
Yeah. Anywho, how we doing?
We good.
Saturday. I don't know where y'all at, but here it's kind of a lazy Saturday. It was raining. The sun kind of peeked out just now, but it's a little late for that.
No, we're getting warm over here, so we're lucky.
It got all the way back up to 72 after being in the bottom 40s last night. It was cold all week here in Cincy.
Really?
Yeah, we actually got snow like one day this week. It was light, but yeah.
Yeah, it was on Halloween. We had snow on Halloween. Right.
I saw your video. So what do we got on tap? What do we got on tap for today, man?
So we're going over the Derek Lewis, Yolton Almeida fight this weekend.
Nice.
What else we're covering? Furry and Ngannu.
Yep. Where you want to start, fellas? Oh, what y'all got for news? I know y'all got some news.
Oh, yeah. So I read an article earlier this week.
Did you?
Yeah, hopefully it's true, So PFL just finalized the buyout of Bellator, and the takeover is going to happen in January. So I feel like in terms of like the MMA world outside of like the UFC branding, that's some big news. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of good fights that can happen there.
Yeah. Anytime you bring two groups like that together, you get all the best of each group. Now you got a bigger group of that. So that's always fun. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those fights. Hopefully.
And Ngannu signed with those guys, so the matchups for him too.
Yeah, but to be fair, we're gonna talk about this, but if he ever fights MMA again, he's an idiot.
Yeah. But what I understand though, according to the article, that PFL plans to run Bellator separately for another 2 years though.
Really?
For whatever reason, I don't know. But maybe we can get like a SmackDown versus Raw type deal. It's more interesting when you have like a versus type of scenario. So you have like
Yeah.
dual belts and whatnot. So I can see that angle.
Yeah. The dual belts is kind of fun. Yeah. Because if you get somebody who can win both, ooh, he tapped him out quickly. Nice.
Get like a SmackDown versus Raw scenario.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Get a couple of title unifications.
Man. But what do you guys think on the matter?
Yeah, I look forward to play. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with the red situation, but it just gets redder and redder. Anywho, it's just Lewis running his mouth as usual. Oh shit! What up, Dale? What's going on? Yeah. I just hope that gets their brand a little bigger. Somebody to push UFC. They need some competition, some real competition. So,
and I actually like PFL and their production and whatnot. Like I feel like they're the right people to take over.
Nice. Huh. So what else we got for? What you got on there, Jake? What are you thinking about, Jake?
Since we can't see your face,
My man's face muted. He's just off doing stuff. My man's he's barely even doing a show at this point.
Total accident, but no, wait, I'm good now. I think that PFL is gonna end up turning into like possibly a total juggernaut because they're gonna get some of those. You can go ahead and call, you might not want to, or you might call, Bellator the amateurs or the developmental for UFC. But you're going to get a couple of those young guys that haven't really had much of a chance to go against PFL guys who were in the UFC, who are the older echelon, because Bellator was kind of a mix and mash of, the UFC veterans that were too old to fight or the young people that are looking for the breakthrough. And now when you mix the two worlds, you're going to see some veterans and some highlight fights that you might not have seen in the UFC that you really wanted. And now you're going to get the up-and-comers going against some other people. I mean, like Will said, it's just going to be insane matchups, and I think it's good for business because just like WWE, they didn't have much competition for years, and then AEW came, and now you got competition. UFC's kind of staying stagnant. You get PFL getting Bellator making these matches. It's just going to make it good all around for everybody.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Agreed. So that merger is official? Do we know that they haven't announced any events yet? They
haven't made a big announcement yet.
Okay, well, we'll keep everybody posted as to what happens with that.
I just don't want them to get too soap opera-y, kind of like how the WWE got. I understand. I like Mike's idea of SmackDown versus Raw and everything, but eventually you're going to need to do title unifications between champions, and it could be a very neat idea when these do start to mix and match. But since they're going to keep them separated for the time being, I'm sure whenever they do get to the unification parts of it, that's when you're going to get the Grand Prix and the tournaments, or even just champions versus champions, and it's going to be entertaining. I wish it wasn't 2 years. I wish it was like maybe a year. I think 2 years is a little lengthy, but
that makes sense,
a year would be better.
No, I think the 2 years is a good mark because I think based on my if I can take a guess, like I think what they're going to do is they're going to spend that time kind of weeding out the roster and see who they're going to invest more into. You know what I mean? Because you can't, you're buying out an organization, but you're not going to get all their fighters. You know what I mean? And honestly, there's not much like worth investing in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like to see like a pink slip tournament. That'd be fun.
I do want to see like it'd be neat if they were able to like throw out who they all have rostered right now, because the only thing you can really see on Bellator to see who they have on their roster is just who they have through their rankings. And their rankings aren't really, I mean, their top fives in each division is about their best competition, because anyone that's 6 through 15 in their divisions really aren't anything that can do anything. Like you got the Nurmagomedov, who's the current champion right now, I believe in like the Bantamweight division. He's going to be a huge get for PFL. But everybody else, I mean, Patricia Pitbull's going to be insane. I mean, Bader, who could eventually get matched up with Ngannu, which would be an insane fight. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that they got to go through, and there's people that aren't ranked that are within that organization that are going to get weeded out. Obviously, it all depends on what we see. And like I said, I'm really interested in seeing who their top 5 matchups are going to be against. Like the very first one that I'd set up is get a unification. Well, Ngannou's not a champion over there, but if Ngannou ended up winning the PFL heavyweight champion, which I think that he could, him and Bader would be an insane matchup to just start it all off.
I feel like because it's Ngannou, he will probably get like a fast track to that title.
Oh, and no.
They're gonna need. He's their biggest star. They're gonna need him to have the title. Yeah.
And honestly, I think they're gonna give him an easy fight. A recognizable name, but an easy fight too. I can see that playing out.
Yeah, but his next 2 fights should be boxing. Honestly.
But after the show he had, we're gonna go ahead and kind of roll right into the next topic then, because him and Fury had a little match recently, didn't they?
Yeah. It was fun.
And a lot of people think Ngannou won that fight. What was your gentleman's take on it?
It was close. I think people think he won because it was close at all. I thought he got robbed at first, but then going back and looking at it, he took too many rounds off. That's kind of why he lost. But other than that, he did a great job.
Yeah.
I had that same outlook, Will, and then I looked at Lewis's post. Lewis made a post about the fight, and then I went back and rewatched the fight and was like, yeah, Ngannou definitely took some rounds off, and that's probably where he hurt himself.
Yeah. But I feel like, the fact that he went the distance and lost a split decision, so arguably one of the greatest boxing heavyweights of our generation right now. To me, that's a win for the MMA column, in my opinion.
Yep.
And specifically the style of fighter that he is that's the one thing he shouldn't have been able to do, is go the distance. Because he can avoid you. Like he's great at defending himself, and it was crazy that that was a great showing by Ngannou.
Yeah. And on paper, this shouldn't even gone to the distance at all, because they're both knockout guys,
Yeah.
Aww.
They're happy they got ice cream. Sorry, there's a little excess noise.
You're good.
Hey, I got us some strawberry shortcakes too.
That's a good point. He says Fury didn't take the fight seriously, to be honest, even if he said he did. Man came in the heaviest he's ever been, but in the end, he played himself. Yeah. I think
he didn't take. Go ahead.
I think next fight he'll whoop his ass. Honestly.
But doesn't Fury already got a fight?
Yeah, Fury has another fight with somebody else. I forget who it is.
It's like relatively soon. Yeah, it's like in December, actually.
It is. It's a December. It's Usyk and Fury in December.
Man.
Usyk's no slouch. I could see Usyk winning that fight, and that's the one time that I had to go against my my differences in heights, because I normally take the guys that are taller, and I really like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder are the two of the biggest reasons that I was a huge I ended up getting into boxing. And once I saw, I was like, okay, this guy's 6'9", sitting in there with 6'6" and below guys. I'm like, he's got a reach, and he can stay away from punches and fade and everything and get out of problems.
Yeah. But I feel like if Francis does do another fight, it should be with Deontay Wilder. I think that's the fight that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a fight that would make sense too. I agree.
Then winner get a rematch with, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great. I know Fury's all set. He got to be all set fighting that man.
But unfortunately, I've read that the numbers did poorly for that fight.
Really?
Yeah,
for Ngannou's fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the worst UFC cards, which had Mighty Mouse on it, had one of the lowest pay-per-view buys of UFC all times, and it still beat out the pay-per-view buys of that boxing match.
Yeah, this is what upsets me. Everybody wants to tune in for Jake and Logan Paul, but they won't tune in for two actual fighters. You know what I mean?
Facebook user, who's that? Was good. That's not like something Coach would say. What's good, gents? Maybe.
It's
Anywho,
definitely not. It's definitely not 2 because he'd be calling us marks.
Or Foop, all that.
Yeah, is that
Coach.
you? Is that you, Fuquat? Oh my!
I guessed
no,
it. I guessed
Coach?
it.
It's Coach, of course. It's Coach. Coach is always respectful and saying
Abu
hello.
Dhabi doesn't care about the number, but it was mainly because people were set with these cross fights. Yeah. Yeah. The cross fights are getting annoying, but they're still gonna do them.
There's they've already announced another cross fight too coming up. It's going to be Jorge and Jake.
Of course.
Jake's gonna piece him up. It's gonna be fun.
You really think that?
Yeah.
That's wild. See, I thought because of I would think because of Jorge's background and because he is mainly a boxer that it would be a closer match than people would think.
Maybe, but he's not an actual boxer. Whereas
Yeah, and
Jake's been training.
Yep, he's been training for many years and he's had a lot of great showings against not boxers except Tommy Fury, which he lost to. But you're going against a UFC fighter that's used to doing UFC things. So I see your point, and I accept it, and I'm perfectly fine with conceding to that.
But yeah, Ngannu and Brown's Bomber is a big fight. And the other huge is, like I said, Jake and Logan. They'll do it eventually. When all this starts to dry up, that's when they'll do it.
They already started the heat on the Impulsive podcast when they were going at each other. They've already been trying to test the waters and see if they would get anything for that, or at least get some traction.
There's nothing to test. Everybody wants that fight. Even if you hate that this is happening, you kind of want to watch those two. It's just like watch these assholes beat each other up.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that so what's the difference in this dynamic? This question's pointed at Mike then. So me and you've talked about in the past about why haven't, they were close to the same division. One was a welterweight, one was a lightweight. One spot at welterweight and the other one's dropped down to lightweight before with the Diaz brothers, and they said that they'd never fight. I understand that their connection's closer and all that other jazz, but they would never fight. But now you get the Paul brothers, and it's a little bit different, and everyone wants to see this brother versus brother matchup. And I just kind of want to know what's the difference. Why now?
Well, I also feel
they're
like
just not loyal to it. Like they've routinely not been loyal to each other, whereas the Diaz brothers are.
I mean, you gotta understand too that the whole social media dynamic, that's a whole separate audience altogether too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a whole separate market. Yeah, it's a whole separate market, totally different demographic. You know what I mean? You gotta understand this is the same people that chew up any other garbage media as well. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, bad movies, bad music, it exists for a reason. It sells. You know what I mean? So does bad fights.
Yeah.
And I do think that if those two actually ever decide to get in there, I don't think Logan takes it serious enough. I don't care how much fun he had in there against Floyd. Floyd did what Floyd does and avoids and hits. I don't think he'd have a chance against his brother Jake.
He trained hard though.
Yeah, I look at those the Paul brothers is no different than any other aspect of sport, pride, and nationalism and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at MMA or boxing, you got people who represent their art, their background, their country. In this instance, I feel like they kind of represent the internet culture.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to have a champion to look up to.
And to be honest with you, and I'm going to get some hate from the audience, maybe even hate from you guys. I ain't even mad at them. I don't dislike the Paul brothers. I think that they did what they had to do to get rich, and they made it their way, and they're doing everything they can to stay relevant and get money. They're getting paid, and people are falling for it. And you know what? More to them. They've got Prime. They've got their Celsius deals. They're getting paid for these pay-per-views. They're staying relevant. And as annoying as people think they are, and as much as they want to get knocked out, or as much as people want them to get knocked out, that's notoriety. People are watching. People are tuning in to see the next time these guys fall. And they're not following. They're just making money.
Logan Paul is chump. Logan Paul is champ. Yeah.
Like I said, you can't be mad at them. They're doing their thing. They're making money, and people are falling for the sham. And you know what?
It's not a sham. They're putting the work in.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I've drank Prime before. I think the shit's pretty tasty. It's not bad. Will seen me drink it on live before.
You're a mark.
I ain't a mark.
You're
If
a
the
mark.
shit
You're
tastes
a
good, I'm
mark.
gonna buy it. Hey, you know what?
Mark.
Hey, it's
This dude is
hey,
tatted. Who is this?
it is.
Pablo Escobar. Oh, that's a great name.
Hey, it's more affordable than Gatorade, but it's definitely not as affordable as Powerade, though.
And they're all crap. So, till we get sponsored by them, we won't be doing that. All right, yeah. So, yeah, it should be all fun. Look, like I said, I think there's still some big fights in that space to be had, but people are gonna keep watching, so it's not gonna die down.
Yeah.
No, because they want to see one of them get knocked out, and the thing is, they're not.
I mean, it's no different than any other sport either, too, though.
Someone's gonna get him though.
Yeah. I mean, somebody
I
kind of
fully-
got him.
I fully believe that if Tommy Fury couldn't have got Jake Paul, I don't think really anybody can get him. Logan, they can get him. Jake, I don't know.
Tommy sucks.
I mean,
And he's still undefeated, though?
Great.
man.
Fair enough.
But the way I look at like this, it's like, okay, Jake, like his only loss is to an actual boxer, and
Yeah.
you look at Logan, he's technically winless.
Freezer.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
they're not that impressed to us, to people like us. They're not impressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know fighting a little bit more than like the average sports person. So
He did stand in there with Floyd though.
sure.
I was about to say the same thing, Mike.
Floyd helped him stand up, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so what we got next?
Thank you. We talked about Bellator. We talked about that. Will, I don't have the fighters' names. I know Raquel Pennington's one of them. If you want to go ahead, we do finally have a title fight for Amanda Nunez's vacant title. She has 2 vacant titles. I believe the one division's going away because there's no woman in that 145-pound division currently. There are plenty of fighters in the 135. And the only thing I got to say to this, hey, Venezuelan Vix and Juliana Pena, you had a big-ass mouth when it came to her retirement. Why aren't you in this fight? You nothing but a big mouth. You would have been vying for that fight if you wanted it. You're not injured. You're not doing nothing. All you look like is a big mouth now. Shut up. That's all I gotta say.
With the emotions again, bro.
No, I can't stand her. I know I can't stand her.
So
She's nothing but she's nothing but a mouthpiece. She ain't got nothing to bring to the game. She won the title from her, lost, had a chance for the rematch, didn't take it, and then when they have a vacant title fight, she don't take it. So what the fuck was your point? You didn't do nothing.
Bro,
you didn't even vie for it.
Business, everything's a calculated decision.
Business calculated decision. If you wanted that women's division to be something amazing or you wanted to do something, you would have put a former champ in that match. Thing is, there is no other former champ besides Juliana Pena, so you put Raquel Pennington and some no-name in there. That ain't no money fight. That's going to be – to me, that should be a prelim fight, even though it's for a title.
Look, here's the thing. People look at you more highly when you beat a champion. Now, whoever the outcome is, whatever you think like their quality or their skill set is, they're still going to be the champion. So I can see her calling out whoever winning this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, she could, but my thing is that my problem with it is I think that she should have been the one in the fight. She is a former champion that is the one that beat the GOAT. Why isn't she vying for the title fight? Why isn't she in the fight?
Right. But here's the thing, man. This is the difference between like taking the belt from somebody, dethroning someone, than just fighting over something that's just dangling over your head. If that is the case, you're not really taking it from anybody other than you're just taking an opportunity. You know what I mean? You get where I'm going with this? Like,
yeah.
So what? Do you think this was a Dana decision for whoever wins this fight's going to get fed to the wolves to Pena? Even though I don't think Pena's that good and she just got lucky.
No. People want the glory, man. The glory is just as important too. You know.
Yeah.
It just makes it for good optics, bro. Like.
I agree. You want to fight for it. You don't want to. I mean, you still fight for the interim, but it's weird. Oh,
is that still Coach Will, Facebook user saying me bashing the ladies? I'm not bashing the ladies. I'm bashing Juliana Pena. That's it.
I'm guessing that's 2.
2? No, wait, no.
I don't know, maybe.
You can ask Mike. I stick up for the ladies division more than anybody. But the
That's something
thing
that
is,
Texas would say.
I'm an ally.
no, wait, no, I absolutely am an ally. But at the same time, it's like you want to draw. You want a reason for people to watch this fight. You throw Raquel Pennington in there, who hasn't done shit in her entire UFC career. And again, like I said, some no name because I can't even remember the name, into this title fight, and you're expecting this to be a co-main event on some card coming up recently. Ain't no damn way. No one wants to see it.
But who's to say that maybe she just haven't been ready either? You know what I mean?
If she wins the fight, I'll eat my hat.
You can't expect
'Cause
somebody to just roll off the couch too, man. Like people got to be in shape ready, you know, fighting shape.
But this fight was just announced. I don't even think that Dana do you still have that picture? I don't think in that notification I sent out, I don't think it gave a card number. So we don't even know when this fight's supposed to take place. It could take place at 297, 298. He could be holding it for 300. So it's not like it's a roll off the couch fight. She had time, at least 3 months.
But again, with my earlier statement too, like I said, people like to chase the glory. So
yeah,
fair enough. I just think that because she my like I said, I get your point. I acknowledge it and I respect it, but at the same time, for the way that she acted at the retirement of Amanda Nunes, if she really cared about having the title or having a fight back or anything to be able to prove that she is what she is, she would have been vying for that title fight, and she didn't get the title fight.
That's
2 other women got it in front of her.
I mean, that's in your opinion. That doesn't mean that that's the case.
I just want to make sure that you guys understood that was it. That was just my opinion about it.
Yeah,
I just think you're just reading too much into her, man. Because I kind of just look at her almost kind of like Kobe Covington. Like she's like an exaggerated version of herself. Everybody's like playing a character these days. You know what I mean? Like so.
The problem I have with that though is the fact that she didn't act like that until that fight. She thought she was next after that fight, and she retired and she acted like a baby about it. That was the only thing that pissed me off about it.
Again, man, circumstances changes people too, man. Again, I bring up Kobe Covington. Like, remember that dude was on the verge of getting cut. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you're pressed to do these things. Sometimes you're told to do these things.
Man.
That part too, Will. You're told to do them.
Yeah. Especially in that division, man. It's a little bit of a lackluster division. You know what I mean? So you got to sell an entire division, not just yourself, too. You know.
What else we got?
Thank you for letting me pop off about that, by the way.
Ooh, we're gonna stop you.
Well, I mean, you've stopped me before, Will, but you didn't stop me that time. I was kind of shocked. I was like, I'm waiting for Will just to say, "Shut the fuck up, Jake." Other than that, I guess
we're short on stories today.
Will and I have already given our opinion on tonight's fight, 9 p.m. fight card in Sao Paulo. Main event is Derek Lewis versus Almeida. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's one of the two. Will and I have given our predictions / opinions on the fight. Mike, you did not get a chance to have your piece on it last week. Me and Will can add to it if we feel like it. But Mike, you can go ahead and give us your opinion on that fight. If you have any insight on it, or you want to talk about Derek Lewis and his flying knees, or if you want to talk about Almeida at all.
Yeah, so I actually been watching Yilton Almeida's fight yesterday. Spent all day watching him. So he's like a submission ace. Like this dude's like legit. I'm actually like legit concerned for like Derek. I know we went over it briefly last week. I actually might change my opinion. I think Almeida might take it.
Oh really?
Yeah. And it's in his backyard too. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I'm 100% with Will. I really hope, just for shits and giggles, Derek Lewis does try to start this off with a flying knee for fun. I know that we all love Derek Lewis because of that KO ability that the man has and possesses. But like Mike said, something rare that we never see in the heavyweight division is someone being like a ground fighter / a submission specialist. Derek Lewis isn't a wrestler. This guy is a straight up banger from Houston. This dude likes to stand and bang. This is completely out of his wheelhouse, and I don't see it going well for him.
Yeah, this can be a tough fight. You know, I kind of overlooked this fight. And like I said, after watching some of Almeida's previous matches, like, oh yeah,
It's gonna be rough.
What we got on him?
We got 19-2 record. Won his last fight. They're both 6'3". Lewis way outweighs him at 275 and 238.
Yeah.
Does anyone happen to know if Lewis
reach.
came in with a six-pack again?
I'm not aware. I know he's an underdog, though. Plus 370, Lewis is.
That's the thing, is that when you get a wrestler / submission specialist going against a guy that's just a straight, well, they call it something else, a brawler. If you go against a brawler, you're going to give the favor to the wrestler because they're going to be able to move around and motion away from the fight and be able to get him to the ground. Derek Lewis is strong, and I've seen him do well against some wrestlers, but if you go against a highly touted ground game guy who can get you to the ground to get you submitted, he has a lot of problems with it. But he's no slouch off his back. But at the same time, I think when it comes to transitioning, he's not nowhere near as strong as that as other heavyweights. If he can somehow keep this standing or at least stay up against the cage to where he doesn't get grounded, he have a chance.
Yeah, he's going to be going for bombs. He's going to try to end it before it gets, fishy, any kind of ground and pound or any kind. He doesn't want to deal with any kind of.
Yeah, I can see him being hella aggressive early on this fight. Like,
he's going to have to be, yeah.
But do you think so? Derek Lewis, along with getting into shape, because we saw with the last fight that he had a six-pack and everything, he is in shape, meaning that, in my opinion, that means that his gas tank would be higher. So do you think that he's going to preserve anything, or do you guys really think he's going to go out there and empty the gas tank in round one? He's got a little bit extra in the gas tank, but I wouldn't say it's a lot.
Like I said, if he was going up against another striker, then yeah, I can see him pacing himself a little bit more. But like I said, it doesn't matter like where your cardio at. Like when somebody slips on a submission on you, it's over anytime. You know what I mean?
And I think that we'd be we can still touch a little bit more on the Derek Lewis fight, but I'm glad Will kind of scrolled down to that. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about our boy Bonfim.
Bonfim!
The other Bonfim.
The other Bonfim.
This just ended up being a guy that I think we liked, or a set of guys that we ended up liking because of the last name.
Well, then we found out they were brothers, and we were like, holy shit.
And they're badasses.
Yeah, so. But yeah, Bonfim.
Does he happen to be a favorite by chance, Will?
Yeah, big favorite. Minus 625, huge favorite.
Low key, this isn't a bad of a card, honestly, for a fight night.
Now, for a fight night, this is solid, yeah.
Abus Magomedov.
Oh,
Abus.
We got another Magomedov in the house. Am I watching them right? When did this whole event start?
I believe the prelims start at 6. If it doesn't start at 6, it starts at 7. But the main card, I know for a fact, starts at 9 p.m.
Yeah, no, we're good. That's why I couldn't find a link.
Yep, nope. This is one of those late fight nights, and I love late fight nights because it means I can go ahead and get some rest.
Yeah.
WWE had their Crown Jewel pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia today, and it started at 12 p.m., and I said, fuck that, I'm going to watch the football game.
Man, the Saudis are keeping busy over there.
No, they get a little bit of everything. Ever since WWE was bought out by Ari Emanuel, they've been definitely – so apparently from what I heard is that when WWE was bought out and they created TKO, WWE had a really good relationship with Saudi Arabia already because they've had multiple pay-per-views over there, and it helped the UFC be able to expand to the Saudi Arabia market, meaning that we're going to get more fights over in Saudi Arabia. Possibly Egypt, from what I've heard, is that they're really trying to aim for an Egypt pay-per-view sometime soon. But WWE, with their good relationship, and Vince McMahon having a relationship with the king over there, that they were going to be able to expand their horizons, and UFC was going to be able to get in there and start having some pay-per-views overseas. Little nugget of information that I don't know that if anybody else besides a professional wrestling fan would know, but
man, Dana White, he's been trying to break into so many markets. So
I'm surprised they really haven't hit anything in India yet. because they do have a little bit of an Indian presence on their roster that I figured that they'd try to hit just about everywhere. It seems like their main markets that they could hit recently has been in Great Britain, Australia, and the USA. They haven't really tried to do anything else in Canada. Like the last big fight they had in Canada, I believe Mike was present for, and they haven't really tried anything since. They do one pay-per-view in Mexico a year, and if it's not even a pay-per-view, if the only thing they could throw on there is Alexa Grasso, they turn it into a fight night. And it's just kind of like that. They're not really trying to expand their horizons. They know where their money pits are. It's Las Vegas, it's Houston, it's MSG, it's Australia, and we can get some stuff in Manchester at Wembley. That's pretty much what they go for and try.
I think it's because ONE FC cornered like the Asian markets, because I know they've been struggling to break over there too.
Yeah, because ONE FC's completely taken over the Asia market. Like Malaysia, anything over there that they can touch, they've already grabbed, and it's tough to get any kind of other presence over there.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, is that Dana White's next big endeavor is getting them fully into the Saudi Arabia market, and Vince McMahon was able to help that with the buyout and opening up the floodgates to be able to have Ari Emanuel, Dana, and everyone talk to them and let's get a pay-per-view set.
Yeah.
Also, if anyone ever wondered, they do have that nice new stadium in Las Vegas that the Raiders play at.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Dana refuses to have pay-per-views there. He says we never really did good at stadium shows, and we really don't know we have the type of cards to be able to put up to sell out a stadium, so we're perfectly fine doing it where we're doing it now. Yeah. So that's why you haven't seen a big stadium show set up in Las Vegas yet. They're staying where they're staying at the MGM Grand.
I know he did talk about doing something at the Sphere.
That would be crazy.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
That thing is so cool. I never thought that I'd like anything about Vegas, but I've seen that with a few NBA events, and I'm like, dude, that thing's actually super sick.
Yeah.
Because from my understanding, the Sphere also showcase stuff on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So imagine staying outside on the strip and just watching a UFC fight.
You know what? I'm actually really interested in this, and I understand that this probably isn't a UFC or MMA or boxing topic, but Mike, just one off-the-cuff question since we're kind of running low on, stuff to throw out there. What is the most interesting place that you visited? Like, you went there and you weren't expecting it to be much, but you got there and was like, wow, this place is really interesting. I'm glad I visited here and took a vacation here. Will, same question to you because I know you've traveled just a little bit.
Yeah, I actually enjoy Hawaii a lot. Whenever people think about Hawaii, they always think all the surfing culture and Waikiki and resorts and whatnot. But it's surprisingly very cultured there. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. It's hella diverse. It's like America's own little Singapore. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of look at Hawaii. I think since you don't get that aspect because every time you hear about people going to Hawaii, it's just they're on their honeymoon. And,
right.
But I think people sleep on Hawaii a lot. People sleep on the culture. People sleep on the food, and there's been plenty of fighters out of Hawaii too. So I
absolutely,
I can see a Honolulu car or something. Yeah,
that'd be dope.
Yeah, I'd love that honestly. Will, same question to you.
Where have I been? I've been up and down, mostly around the coast. I like Maine. Maine, there's a couple islands on Maine that are just dope.
That's
just
badass.
really quiet, beautiful looking, and just out in the cut.
If I had to give my honest opinion, I think when I was going to visit my cousin. He's in the military, or he was in the military. He just recently got honorably discharged. I was going to visit him in North Carolina, and we had driven through and stopped in Winston-Salem, and that is I didn't expect anything from it. I just showed up, stopped at McDonald's. It is the nicest place that I've ever been to. Everyone is incredibly nice. People are driving through just the little parts of town, singing in their car, having a good time. They're just the nicest set of people that I think that I've ever met in my life. I'm like, I could live here just because the vibe's so nice and everyone's so happy. I've never been anywhere where people are just that happy.
Yeah, I got some family in North Carolina. They're pretty happy folks.
It's just if I could be around like an environment like that where everyone's constantly happy, I feel like my life would be like just a happier spot. It's like even if you're having a rough time, at least you know when you go out and someone's just going to give you a warm hello, even if they don't know you. It's the best part of life. Just walking up to a complete stranger, how you doing today? Blah blah blah. It was a great experience. I'm glad that I was able to drive through there, and it was fantastic. But I didn't mean to get off the MMA topic. I just know we were kind of rolling around.
No,
You're
you're
good.
good. Actually, I would like to say, if the UFC want to break into the Asian market, I think they need to step outside of the box a little bit. How about you do like an Asian card in Hawaii? Because there's like
That'd
a
be
bit of an
sick.
there's a
Yeah.
little bit of an Asian influence there too. So you want to promote like Asian MMA or South Pacific MMA or whatnot.
Right.
I feel like that'd be a good place to do it. At the same time, you're still in like your own backyard, you know.
I agree.
You keep it close enough to home, but also have it diversified.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting because you even brought that up and you were talking about the Asian market. I'm still waiting for Zhao. What's her last name, Mike? Zhao Xiaonan.
Oh yeah, Yasha Xiaonan.
I want her to get a title fight so bad. I think her and Zhang Wei Li in Beijing would be insane. But if they could do that on a Honolulu card, that'd be insane too.
Yeah, man.
And I think a lot of people have been calling for that fight, and Dana just either it hasn't lined up for the fighters, or Dana just doesn't see it in that fight. But I want nothing more than that fight because I think she's the only one that could take Zhang Wei Li.
Right. But to do it like a Beijing card, it's no easy task. You know what I mean?
No, because the only fighter that I can think of, and this is going to sound horrible, but the only fighter that I can think off a hand that can go on that card and get a little bit of notoriety is Song Yadong. But I know there are other Asian fighters. I mean, you could throw the Leech on there, and there's a few others that you could throw on there to get some cards. But it's really, like you said, it's tough to build an Asia card.
That's what I'm saying. You should do a Honolulu one and just make it like an Asian / like South Pacific kind of card. You know?
Yeah, you got a better chance of filling that one.
That's just me though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've pretty much thrown all my 2 cents I could in, and I'm actually I'm having a good ass time just talking to you guys about some random shit, and also with the MMA. Do you guys have anything else to add just randomly to the show? Because I think we've kind of we ran our topics out.
Yeah.
If you guys got anything else, because I think Will, my StreamYard's still showing scheduled at the top, so I don't know how long we've been on at this point. But if you guys,
we've been live for like 43 minutes.
So if you guys got anything else to add, so we can hit that hour mark, by all means. If you guys got some random stuff to pull out the hat, let's talk about it.
Maybe.
Oh man, he just kicked him in the nuts. So yeah, you guys gonna be watching the fights?
Yeah. So are you talking about the Derek Lewis one, or the next review?
Actually both. I'm watching this Octagon. Yeah, this is like an Octagon event. Oh, that is a neat. Yo, they both jumped. That is so unlucky.
What are you watching, Will? Is it just something on cable, or is it ESPN, or?
It is neither of those things. It's on DAZN.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's called Octagon 48.
Wait, is it MMA?
Yeah.
It's not UFC related?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I wonder how they got away with Octagon.
Just some little indie thing. Tell you what, I do see Lewis, a Facebook user, and some other Val. What's up? Welcome to the show from Twitch.
It's good,
man. Anyone from since we're kind of to this point where we're out of our topics and we're just talking randomly, if anyone is currently watching us and you guys got anything to add or you got any questions for the cast here, ask some questions and we'll go ahead and answer them as well.
Absolutely. Q&A.
Open up to the floor. We weren't ill prepared. We just went through everything that we talked about, and we had.
It was a short week. There wasn't a lot to go on. Especially we covered most of the news last week as well.
Well, actually, hold on. I did just think of something too. While we wait for a possible comment, Will. Mike, what was your initial reaction to finding out that the John Jones and Stipe Miocic fight was called off?
Honestly, it didn't bother me too much. On be honest, I feel like the heavyweight's kind of another lackluster division.
Yeah.
Like going back to like our earlier topic, I feel like that's what makes the PFL Bellator buyout great. Those guys need competition, man.
Yeah.
And you see it. You see the UFC getting a little bit stagnant lately. And you can talk. You can easily make that argument across the board too in a lot of their divisions, not just like the heavyweight.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at the women's division. Other than like was the women's strawweight, it's like, what's going on?
And even the women's strawweight is starting to get down because, recently Rose Namajunas moved up, so they're really starting to lose stuff. I don't want to say that UFC or MMA is in like kind of like a downfall period, but it's like you got your dominant champions and you got like a couple up and comers that are kind of doing the thing. I was really high on Song Yadong when he first hit that scene, and it's like he's kind of went stagnant. It's like some people get a lot of motion and a lot of like they get on a roll, and then they just fall flat. It's the Johnny Walker syndrome. You get guys in here that you get so excited about, they hit their loss or they hit kind of like a momentum break, and then it's like we're starting to rotate through previous title fights. Like as much as I wanted to see Volkan Makachev again, they're just throwing rematches out there. It's like, okay, you guys sucked the life out of DC and Miocic, and now you're trying to throw Miocic into something else. You sucked the life out of Garbrandt and Dillashaw while that was a thing. Then you'll randomly bring out Connor out of nowhere, and it's just they run too.
Connor and Nate, they just roll Connor and Nate out randomly, like, hey, you guys.
Well, no, even with the Connor thing, you gave us him and Poirier twice. It's like you guys have no. You guys are so focused on money that there's no parity in any of the divisions to where we're not getting matchups that a lot of the fans want to see. We just want something new. Like that's the thing I say is like this year's World Series. I thought that this was one of the best World Series that we could have turned out because it was parity. We didn't have the Dodgers in there. We didn't have the Houston Astros in there. We got parity. We got the Texans, or not the Texans, wow. The Rangers, and we got the Arizona Diamondbacks. We had parity finally. It's like we finally got something we didn't.
Yeah.
We haven't seen.
And guess what? And the ratings were really low.
And that's shitty because it's like, why wouldn't we want parity? You guys want to see the same teams in the same thing every year. Would the Super Bowls with the Patriots in it every year be that good? For me, I'd love it as a fan. But at the same time, when you start getting new teams in there, I don't want to see the Kansas City Chiefs in there every year. I don't want to see the 49ers in there every year. I want to see some new teams and throw it on. Who cares if the Ratings are shitty? You're bringing in parity into the damn league. Like we got so sick of seeing Alabama in the college football playoffs and the title game that they had to make a switch and said, we're going to make this a 12-team playoff thing so we can get some parity. I thought last year in particular was one of the greatest years for college basketball because we saw a bunch of upsets and everything. It's just I don't see the problem with parity. Don't get stagnant and just give us a bunch of rematches on stuff that we've already seen. Because what do you get with rematches? You get familiarity with fighters, and instead of getting the knockouts that people want to see, because people watch UFC for knockouts, let's be honest, I'd say 70 to 80% of the demographic of people that watch UFC want to see someone get knocked out. They don't want to see the wrestling and enjoy the side of it that us three do. So you get Stipe and DC go in there, someone gets beat early in the first one, then you get a decision in the second one. These guys are so familiar with each other that they know what they're going to do, that they're being so careful that the other person doesn't make a mistake or they get knocked out, that you go to another decision. It's like, well, I was really expecting something else in that fight, and this is what I got instead. And I'm not trying to dog it. It's just a fact of life.
I respectfully disagree, man. I think the general going audience for MMA, they're fairly educated when it comes to like the grappling aspect of like MMA. When shit hits the floor, man, people know when there's like a submission gonna happen. You know what I mean? Look at like Khabib. People responded really well to him. People responded really well to like Matt Hughes. You can go down the line. You know what I mean? Randy Couture, Brock Lesnar.
I think those are the real good fans, though. I think the general in every situation, general population doesn't know what the hell they're looking
But
at.
exactly, that's my point that I was trying to make, is that you got the real MMA fans who follow it, like us three, who I think are in a 20 to 30% range, that watch it and respect every aspect of the fight. But the other guys that just go to the bar to get drunk to see people get knocked out, it's the same guys that watch hockey for the fights. They don't care what the sport's bringing. They just want to see it happen. Now, you would every now and again, like Mike said, get an educational fan that'll sit there and watch it and understand that, okay, wrestling's a big integral part of this sport, and we respect it, like how you said with Habib. But it's a little nip and tuck here.
I feel like when a submission happens, people are genuinely
They get just as hyped for a knockout. I'm with you.
Yeah, no. I feel like it first start off with shock and confusion, followed by excitement and impressment. Because a knockout can be shocking and surprising too, but then you can process that right away. Versus like a submission, it was like, oh, what the hell just happened? Like, why did he tap?
Yeah.
And you know what? I honestly think I might. I don't know. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Mainly Mike. It's like, just look at me at the evolution of the fan that I am. When me and you met, and I think it was like the late 2016, early 2017, we were both on the reloads. Then when we both went to HAS, we started having a mutual interest in MMA. When you first met me and we started talking about it, I was the guy that was like, yeah, I just want to see this guy get knocked out. I like the brawlers.
Right.
After I had talked to you and I hung out with you and watched MMA, you opened my eyes to the multiple gates of, these are the many styles of MMA. You do realize that there's a thing of, like, I understood what BJJ was, but I thought they were just head kicks. Now, there's a whole lot more to it than that. There's a Muay Thai. There's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's the brawler. There's the wrestler. There's all sorts of different avenues that you go with MMA. And by talking to you and watching it more and understanding more of the game, I started respecting more of the aspects, which is why I get mad at some of my friends who can't stand the wrestlers, like the Habib or the Chimaev and the guys that wrestle mainly to get their wins, like how Dillashaw was and how Cody were at the beginning of their careers, which is why I like their fights so much.
Right.
Is respect all aspects of the fight game, because you're going to see something that you might not have ever seen before, like a twister. When those happen, it's out of nowhere, and you're like, holy shit, that's never happened in the UFC. That's happened 5 times, blah, 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 and get excited about it. And everyone's like, who cares, blah, blah, blah. That's why I say the demographic of the fan is, 70, 30, 80, 20, is that I want them to enjoy this part of the fight game, but all that these guys are here to see, they're here to be drunk assholes and hope to see someone get knocked out, which is why when you watch the pay-per-view ratings for a card that has 15 fights on it and only 3 people get knocked out and 2 people get submitted, everyone says it's a bad card because they all went to decision. But yet when you watch the Believe You Me podcast and they say there were 13 finishes in this card went outstanding, it's like you're not really understanding the complete totalness of this card and enjoying exactly what these guys are putting into the fights.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just giving the audience like the benefit of the doubt, but me
don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. People are in general idiots.
And Will turn me on to that part of these guys are being assholes. They're idiots. Enjoy it for what you enjoy it for.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong either. No, you're definitely right. But I think the number's a lot bigger than you think. I think there are people who do respect like the overall game of the sport.
Oh,
and I think I just think I'm taking it from my personal experience of me being a dumbass to it and appreciating you for opening my eyes to it. So thank you. No. It's just I don't want to be in that big demographic of enjoy it for the knockouts. Now you're probably right. There probably are people that are more savvy to it than I think, and I don't look down upon them because I want more people to watch the sport. But me being who I am and me how I was, and thanking you for opening my eyes to like what I should enjoy about the sport. That's just what I see. That's what we're here for with our opinions.
Yeah. But no, I think a lot. I think maybe I'm not saying they're like well versed in the matter, but I think when there's like grappling exchange, I think people have a general sense of what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because usually especially when it's their favorite fighter getting taken down, it's kind of a panic-inducing thing for them.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I wouldn't brush off like people's knowledge of like the grappling aspect of the sport off.
Definitely. Well, this has been another exciting episode of the Tap Out. we should be back again next week. We'll go over the card that happens tonight, as well as what's coming in the future.
294.
294. Yeah, should be fun. Yeah, shout out to everybody who joined us. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to Lewis, Coach. Who else was in here? Dale and Val. We had a bunch of people in here. Yeah, appreciate y'all. Yeah, man, y'all have a wonderful week. And the rest of us will see you Monday for the play call sheet. Actually, they'll see you tomorrow morning for the fantasy football.
Yep.
show.
There's great week of football coming tomorrow. We got a great slew of matchups. You got the Eagles and the Cowboys. You got the Chiefs going against who are they going against at 9:30? The Dolphins. Bengals, Bills, and there's one other really good matchup coming this week. So week 9's an insane week of football.
Sounds good. Can't wait to watch. We will see you guys next week. Y'all have a wonderful evening and go enjoy some fights, you know. Where's our outro? There it is. Y'all have a good one, man. We out. Come a week.
Find this podcast and others on STWFTV, the Podcasting Network, wherever you get podcasts.